Matthew, Derek, we're on in 30 seconds. Hit sanitizer! Script! Launch! Hello and welcome to Biology Broadcast. This is your host, Matthew Derek. Today we will be talking about Gene therapy. What is gene therapy? To look into more of the subject, we called in an expert, Rebecca Buonapane. Hello, Rebecca. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for inviting me, Matt.
So, what is exactly gene therapy?
Gene therapy is a kind of treatment for genetic disorders. Usually, we are used to different medicines and surgeries for treating different problems, but this is a whole new treatment. Instead of medicine, healthy genes are used to solve genetic disorders.
So, how does gene therapy work?
Well, there's 3 ways to gene therapy. You can replace genes, fix genes, or make genes more evident in the body.
Sounds interesting. Can you explain more?
Yes. So for replacing genes, genes are put into your cell to completely replace a mutated gene and get rid of the problem. The second way, fixing genes, are when genes are added to the cell to turn off bad genes or add good ones. The final way is to make genes more evident to the body. Sometimes our body doesn't attack cells it should, and so by adding more of these bad genes, our immune systems will learn to attack.
Wow, so gene therapy could be really helpful. So, Rebecca, please tell us a little history on this treatment.
The first ones to successfully use gene therapy as a treatment were Drs. W. French Anderson and Michael Blais. Although it's still in an experimental phase, it has been successful in many situations.
So how exactly did Anderson and Blais pull this off?
Like I said, gene therapy is, as of today, still an experimental treatment. However, even back then, doctors were still trying to find a way to treat people for their genetic diseases. Anderson and Blais were studying how genes were naturally put into the bone marrow cells of animals. The process didn't hurt the animals, but the number of cells that eventually had the right gene was too little to be an effective treatment. They used a vector to insert the new genes into the animal cells.
What's a vector?
A vector is a gene carrier that brings the genes into a patient's cell and puts them into the proper gene sequence. It is usually a bacteria or virus that carries these genes.
So kind of like a delivery service?
Yes, exactly. Here, I brought in some diagrams if you don't mind.
Oh, not at all. I made some too.
So, here's a vector. It can be injected through an IV or shot into your body, or you can grow some of your cells in a culture with the vector to see if it will work before it is injected in you. Now, the vector is like a spaceship with genes and enzymes in it. This one happens to be a virus. It lands on your cell, injects the genes and the enzymes into the nucleus of your cell. The enzymes work to place genes into your DNA. From this process, your new healthy cell must divide and will soon make enough of healthy genes to affect your whole body.
Wow, that's pretty smart to do. As you can see here, I tried to draw a DNA, but it didn't look as good.
That used to be me. They became an expert.
Okay, so what does the vector do once it's in the cell and puts new genes in the body?
The vector delivers the genes to the nucleus, and usually enzymes that are part of the vector turn the genes into DNA. And either correct, delete, or replace mutated or extra copies of genes already in the cell's DNA so that the mutated genes are corrected.
Awesome! Gene therapy is genius.
My name is AJ Brown, and gene therapy is not good. I'm gonna sit here.
The audience isn't really supposed to be in the news, but I guess you can explain your point.
Yeah, I can. Well, here's the deal. My niece died because of gene therapy treatment. She never really got to live. And anyway, gene therapy can also cause problems in the body when the vector is introduced. It can cause an immune response from the patient if the vector isn't treated correctly. There are also other types of vectors called liposomes, and some of them are actually toxic. Any new genes introduced through gene therapy can be detected as foreign, and when the body tries to reject them, any healthy cells that have been affected with the new genes that the body sees as bad genes could be destroyed.
This is actually true. When introduced to a body, a vector can cause an immune response from the patient. In addition, if a virus or a liposome is used as a vector but isn't treated properly as a carrier, patients can get the virus and in some cases might get toxins in their bodies.
My name is Olivia Purinton, and gene therapy is good.
Oh, okay, another audience member. You probably want to explain too?
My brother almost died from a horrible disorder, but this therapy makes his life normal. He was going to die. Gene therapy is sometimes the only potential solution to a hereditary disease, and it can actually be very effective when delivered to the tissue correctly. Babies can even undergo gene therapy to silence a gene for a disease that may affect them much later in life, and could fix disorders that could potentially kill them. Gene therapy can save many lives. There's a chance it could go wrong, but just like anything else. And if it works correctly, it can save someone's life.
Rebecca?
This is true too. Gene therapy can be a great way to correct a potentially life-threatening genetic disease. It prevents a lot of future problems, and a treated patient can lead a normal life.
So, what do you have to say back? AJ Brown.
I guess the gene therapy can be used to save lives, but it's not guaranteed that it will work. You could end up doing more harm than help. If a doctor uses a vector like a liposome, even though it can hold more genes and potentially solve a bigger messed up gene, its success rate is still really low. Even viral vectors, which tend to work better, still have a chance of failing, in addition to a chance of introducing the viral genes it was originally meant to carry to make copies of itself. If not treated properly beforehand, the patient can get sick on top of having a genetic disease. Yes, I agree that it hurts people on occasion, but on the off chance that it does work, it saves more lives. And as scientists learn more about gene therapy through their tests and research, they can perfect it more to make sure less people get hurt and more will have successfully integrated genes. Sometimes genetic therapy can have devastating consequences. A story from USA Today tells the story of a woman by the name of Jolie Moore. Jolie was injected with trillions of genetically modified viruses containing healthy genes in an experiment she volunteered for to see if gene therapy could help with pain from the arthritis in her knee. She got sick on the day of the injection and died 3 weeks later from internal bleeding and kidney failure. Her husband couldn't bring himself to stay with her during the last hours of her life and kept his 5-year-old daughter away, thinking she wouldn't even recognize her mother under all of the swelling from her bleeding. He spent the last few hours of her life questioning the equally confused doctors. Yes, that is a risk, but there are risks with everything, and there's a chance it will work. Doctors also inform everyone of the risks. Gene therapy has been tested before on patients with hereditary blindness, a virtually incurable disease. In the first trial, patients were able to improve their vision for at least a few more years. Then, eventually, their vision continued to deteriorate again, but that is a risk. In the second trial, 6 out of the 9 patients treated were able to have improved vision. This further proves my point that as scientists learn more about this, they'll be able to correct their errors, improve procedures, and possibly even cure more illnesses. It shows how many people's lives can be changed because of gene therapy.
Hold on. Gene therapy does have its consequences. Risks come with every procedure. But yes, all this new research is helping. However, this is still an experimental treatment in the medical field.
But is it really worth the risk of death for a disease that may not even affect someone that much? Moreover, gene therapy still may not even work, and all the money and treatment put into it will be a waste. Maybe not, but some of these diseases are very difficult to live with, and make life extremely painful for those living with it. Patients know the risks of getting these treatments, and some of them still want to get them, because living with these diseases is just so difficult. I agree, it can be difficult, but you can live with some genetic disorders. Some people can't afford gene therapy. According to Santa Clara University, starting therapy for epidermolysis bullosa, even for a baby, can cost up to $100,000 just for the first year of treatment. Therapy for different genetic disorders can also range in price, depending on the research put into it. Yes, it costs a lot, but you're able to pay a little at a time, so you don't go bankrupt immediately. $100,000 is a lot of money, but to save someone you love is more important than money anyways. What about tumors? They can appear when the genes are inserted into the wrong spot of your DNA.
This is true.
But doctors are starting to understand this better and save even more lives. In 2013, according to globalnews.ca, another study was done on leukemia patients. There were 5 adults and 22 children total. All 5 adults and 19 out of the 22 children made a complete recovery with no more traces of cancer.
This is also true.
This is a lovely newscast.
I've never seen the audience know so much about a topic.
This has never happened before, and I'm very professional.
Did you know gene therapy can attack the wrong cells? In viruses, vectors can attack more than one kind of cell and can affect any cell. This is a complex process, but it doesn't always do this.
Again, both of these points are true.
Infections can be caused. You're putting a virus into yourself. It can backfire and plant an infection.
It's better than having a lifelong disorder or not even getting to have a life.
But
And of course there's more. But hold on, AJ. Why do you feel so strongly about these points?
it's simply not right. People can die, and it can be so harmful if it goes wrong, like my niece.
Rebecca,
Good.
you're the expert. What do you feel about this negativity?
Well, everything does have flaws, but it's important to note the future of this treatment.
I heard that sometimes a patient needs injections every so often to make sure that the patient is still okay. Is this true?
Yes, sometimes a patient will still need an injection or two every so often throughout their lives to make sure that everything is okay and the treatment is still working. Eventually, though, some people can be done with their therapy and lead normal lives.
Yeah, gene therapy isn't always bad. It can help people.
Alright, let's give it up for our expert and 2 unexpected audience members. That's our show on gene therapy. See you next time on Biology Broadcast.
Okay. Are you okay?
Everybody.
2, 3, 4, 5.
We did that.
Hold on, paper.
Hold on. Oh, shit.
Stop. Wait a minute.
Come on.
Bowl, put some paper in it.
We're putting that in.
Sorry.
In the biologenes, the vector was originally meant to carry to make copies of itself.
Undercover, right?
We should put that in the blooper.
She
I
was
just start
making
laughing in the middle of it. You guys go.
I was like, oh my god, I'm going to kill you.